Welcome to the Horses and Holy Moments podcast.
Ingela, you have a virtual course series called Creating the Fearless Horse. Could you share with me how you came up with that?
Yes, Corey. Well, it had to do with my own journey of the healing of the heart. I realized that humans and horses are similar in many ways. So I had a lot of fears that got triggered during my day, and these fears were there since childhood, but I didn't know that. So I would just feel stressed or nervous or lose patience. And because of that, I wouldn't act out of love. So I discovered that this is very similar with horses. They tend to misbehave, and by misbehaving, we think of the horse rearing, bucking, pulling back, not loading into a trailer, being nervous out on a trail ride. And there's a multitude of issues that horse people run into and deal with daily when it comes to horses. And very often we put those issues down to dominance or disrespect. So we think, oh, the horse bucked that person off. Let's get on it right away again. The horse is naughty. The horse is disrespectful. That's why he's doing that. We also think that when a horse stops at the fence that we want to jump or doesn't want to cross a water puddle or a ditch. So what I discovered is that just like in my own heart, the horse misbehaves mostly because of fear. Not because he's disrespectful or dominant.
That makes so much sense. And I have learned this from you, and I think it's amazing because we usually just look at what the horse is doing or the outside of the horse. And you're so true about we think it's the horse not wanting to do what we want it to do. But actually, it's amazing to hear that it can just be from fear. So how have you, or what do you share to help the horse get over their fear? And I also love how you connect it to our own fear as well and triggers.
Okay, let me give you an example, then we can practically illustrate it. Let's say I want to load my horse into the trailer. I want to load it into the trailer because I'm going to a competition and I have to arrive at a certain time. Now my horse is not loading into the trailer. So maybe I'm okay the first 30 minutes or the first hour and I'm patient. And afterwards, I start to get stressed.
Yep.
I'm getting stressed because I'm thinking, oh no, I'm going to be late. I'm going to miss the competition. And that creates stress.
Yes, this happens all the time.
Yes. So now let's break it down. What's happening in my heart, or what used to happen in my heart, because it doesn't happen anymore. Okay. But before I experienced Jesus healing my heart and taking out fear and replacing it with his love, his peace, and his joy, I would feel the fear, but not as fear. I experienced it as stress. Okay, so what would happen is I'm going to explain to you what actually happens internally, maybe even without my realization.
Okay.
I'm trying to load the horse. I have a certain amount of time frame before I need to start driving. The horse is refusing to load. Okay, so at first I would be patient and keep trying. Then comes the point where I start to have sentences in my head or maybe deeper in my heart like, Life is hard. I can't do it. No one is helping me. And then it just spirals down and down and down. And at the bottom of that would be, I am alone. And being alone is painful. So what we have here is an outward circumstance, like the horse not loading into the trailer, but it triggers actually something that happened to me in my childhood. It triggers a lie that is in the heart, that is very deep-seated, that I'm outwardly absolutely not aware of. I'm just thinking, I need to go, the horse doesn't load into the trailer, this is what's stressing me. But that's not actually true. What stress is a pretty word for fear. So actually, I'm afraid. So what am I afraid of? At the base of that would be, I'm alone, it's hopeless, and so on. So the other sentences that trigger it is, I can't do it.
Right.
Nobody's helping me. It's very difficult to do. And that then spirals down. And what happens is it causes pain. I don't experience it as pain. I'm not crying. I'm feeling frustrated. I'm feeling stressed. Out of that place, I might start to misbehave. What is misbehaving in a human? When we lose patience, we start to put internal pressure on the horse. It might not even be external pressure, but inside our heart, we're starting to say to the horse, get in the trailer now. Okay,
Exactly.
So that would be like a dominant attitude and a
Yes.
pressure, and the horse is sensitive to that and feels that.
Right.
However, the horse not loading into the trailer is not my problem. I just think it is. It's the natural circumstance that triggers a fear that is very old, that happened before the age of 6. So it maybe not always triggers a fear. It basically triggers a childhood wound. And we know in childhood we receive the core wounds of abandonment, rejection, loss, lack, or neglect. These are all core wounds and they're very painful to a baby's heart, a toddler's heart, and anybody under 6 years of age. But we all receive some of these woundings because of the people around us, even though they love us as much as they can and they do the best they can, they're not perfect. So they sin against us out of their own pain, out of their own wounding. So in a nutshell, a human misbehaves out of their own pain. When we have pain, because pain comes from a wound, and to that wound is a lie attached. And it's the lie that is painful. It causes pain. And when it gets triggered 20, 30, 40 years later, we react out of that painful place, out of that lie, because when we feel pain, we have a tendency to make someone else pay for our pain. This could be our marriage partner, our children, our parents, or our horse.
Right. Yes.
Right. So we need to look at that and invite Jesus into that part of our heart so he can take the lie out and put the truth in. Then pull the pain out. And when that happens, this encounter with Jesus, we no longer have that pain. Therefore, we also no longer have the lie, we have the truth. And then it can't get triggered anymore because there's nothing to trigger.
Wow.
So that's it in a nutshell. So my journey was, I realized that when I can't load my horse into the trailer, I'm starting to feel stressed and frustrated. Why? Because deep down below is the lie that I am abandoned and no one helps me. I'm alone. It's hopeless. I'm despairing. I can't do it. And that is painful. Then I would feel impatient with my horse and either do one of two things. Either put pressure on him internally and say, get into the trailer, or I give up. I can't do it, right? So through this journey, I realized that the horses are the same as us in this regard. Meaning, if a horse had either not been introduced to the trailer properly, so he never had the opportunity to get confident with the trailer, so it's brand new, and we don't give him the time to explore it, to check it out, we are demanding that he goes in
Yes.
to a small little box where he can't see out, where that's a really, really difficult thing for a horse to do because they're prey animals. They like to see into the distance to see if any danger is approaching. It does not make any sense to get in a little box, okay? It doesn't to
Right.
them.
No.
No. So they need to get either confident with the trailer, which we can help them do by allowing them to explore it because they're naturally curious animals
Yes.
and they gain confidence, or they trust us. And because we ask them to go in and they trust us as the lead, they will load. So there's these two ways.
Got it.
But
Yep.
if we don't give them time, we just open the trailer, the horse has never seen a trailer, and we get another 4 people to help us and somehow push him in, the horse will definitely be afraid. Now, if that has happened in a horse's past, or he had an accident in the trailer, or even felt unbalanced while we drive, the next time he sees a trailer, it's the trailer or a human and a trailer present at the same moment that will trigger that fear the horse still has in the heart from long ago. So that's how I discovered that the horse is misbehaving just like a human misbehaves out of fear. So when we deal with horses and something happens that triggers the horse, it could be a trailer, a saddle, a rider, a show jump, anything, us moving something, anything that the horse has previously had a negative experience with a human. The moment he sees that same thing or feels that same thing, instantly the fear in his heart gets triggered. And the moment the horse's fear gets triggered in the heart, he instantly misbehaves. We instantly have the horse stopping, raising the head, getting tense, or in a worse case, rearing up, pulling back, bucking, shying, pulling away. It happens so fast because the fear got triggered.
That makes complete sense. But it's interesting how in the moment we think it's just their behavior. I guess I go back to that. And it's good to know that it's something deeper, and that we can, I've heard this information before, but to go back and look at my own self and say, oh my goodness, there is a lie there. And how can I heal that lie? Could you talk a little bit about how we could help the horse with these triggers? I mean, you explained some, but how we can go deeper with the horse and deeper with our own hearts and the lies?
Okay, yes. So when we recognize that we have lost peace and joy, that's a moment where we need to recognize we actually have enemy territory in our hearts. What is enemy territory? Well, we know that Satan is the father of lies.
Right.
He lies.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So a lie would be so-called enemy territory. If we imagine our hearts like with lots of different areas, so there is going to be truth in the heart and in other areas is lie. So as a born-again believer, our spirit has been made brand new. We are a new creation. But we need to walk out our salvation with fear and trembling. That's the ongoing sanctification process where we get to know Jesus more and more, where we receive an inward transformation that comes from beholding Him, being in His presence, by listening to His voice, because He is truth, right? So His truth is higher than the lies. So I call this enemy territory when there is small little areas of our hearts, because the heart is not the spirit, right? There is no darkness in our spirit.
Right.
It says that we are one with Jesus. We're one spirit. Okay? So these lies or enemy territory is in the soul realm. Mind, will, and emotions. So in the heart, we have areas that carry the truth. We are loved. We are blessed. We are never alone. Right?
Yes, right.
But Jesus said He has given us His peace and joy. He left that with us. We have it already. So I look at it this way. Any moment in my day where I lose peace and joy or it gets stolen, we need to look at why. Why did it get stolen? Why don't I have something that Jesus promised me He's given me? So I do have it, but where is it gone? So there I see that, it most of the time has to do with an outward circumstance reminding me of something that happened in my past where there was a wound, there was a sin done against me,
Yes.
and in that place was pain, and then a lie attached itself to that memory. Right? So it is possible when a child gets abandoned, even temporarily, the enemy will speak a lie to the child's heart. You are alone. Well, is it true that the child was maybe temporarily experiencing abandonment? For example, it cries at night and it takes the parents 30 seconds to wake up and go to the baby. In those 30 seconds, the enemy can already say, look, there's no one there. You are alone. No one is helping you. No one cares about you. You are abandoned. You are alone. It's hopeless. You can't even walk or talk yet. Okay? And that lie attaches itself to the pain. It can be perceived or real, because people also experience real abandonment. Now, when we become a child of God, we now have a heavenly Father and a heavenly family, and we are no longer orphans. We are not abandoned. We always have Him, right? So even if people
Yes.
abandon us and we did experience pain, this is no longer so. So, meaning, when an outward circumstance triggers an area from the past that still has pain and a lie, I call this enemy territory, because the enemy is the father of lies.
Yes.
So there'd be a small area maybe in my heart where I don't have the truth yet. That area of my heart doesn't know Jesus yet. It believes the lie. So in that area of my heart, I need an encounter with Jesus. So I invite Him into this. I run to Jesus. I say, look, I lost my peace and joy today. This happened. Where is the first time I felt like that? And I allow Jesus to take me back to my childhood memory. And in that memory, show me His heart for me. Show me what happened to my heart. But what was His heart for me? What did He want? And then in that place, when He speaks the truth to me, I'm then able, from the little girl's heart, to forgive those who've hurt me and sinned against me, and also to repent for my judgments I made against those people. It's maybe a subject we can talk about another time. But then Jesus takes out the pain and He replaces the lies with His truth. So that's how then that part of the heart now carries the truth and is so-called healed. It now knows the Lord. So this is how my own heart would heal. And then next time I trailer load, it doesn't trigger me, even if the horse does never get in the trailer at all. I'm no longer feeling alone. I no longer feel I can't do it. Oh,
Yeah.
I might not have accomplished the trailer loading,
Yes.
but it is not touching that wound because it's healed. So there is a lot more patience in my day, a lot more joy, a lot more peace. Okay? So now you asked a little bit about how do we walk this journey as a person, but also now how do we help the horse, right?
Yes.
Okay. So the horse is looking for love, peace, and joy because the horse still hears the echo of Eden. Before the fall, there was no fear. There was no miscommunication. Now, when something triggers the horse and touches the wounding he has in his heart and the pain that he has, we can see this. So rather than we go and say, I'm giving up on this horse. It's an impossible horse. I don't want to deal with it. I'm going to sell it. Yeah. Or we're saying, I'm going to make him do this
Right.
and force him. So one attitude is passive.
Yep.
The other one is dominant. Both is not like a lead. Jesus is the best leader and the best example we have in human history. Okay? He always loved. So what do? We represent him, right? And that's why our own journey of the healing of the heart is so important. So we can only represent the heart of God where we know God, because we can't give what we don't have.
Right.
So if we see that the horse has lost its peace and we have not lost our peace, then we are the ones who give the horse love, peace, and joy. That means we help the horse overcome his fears. And that is why I created this series called Creating the Fearless Horse. In it, I talk about how to communicate with the horse. So we have building blocks and we have an understanding, a language to communicate. Very simple, using thought, energy, body cue, and touch for the horse to understand when are we asking something, when are we making a boundary, and when are the things that we're doing, like movements or touching, not mean anything. When don't they mean anything? It's more like a massage or we're waving at our friend and we're not talking to the horse. So the course is based on that, and then step by step, helping the horse to overcome all the fears he already has. With the horse, this has to do with listening, understanding, hearing what he's saying, and then being there for the horse. Being there and saying, yes, I understand you're afraid, but I'm going to tell you it's all going to be okay. And we basically need to then be willing to walk with the horse through that fear without pressurizing the horse, without giving up on him. And in a way, the more we experience Jesus and his love for us, his patience for us, and how he is when we're hurt and we're afraid, the more we're able to extend that to the horse.
I love that so much. The verse that comes to me, and I've heard you say this before, but perfect love casts out fear. And, your examples are just that. And as believers, I'm so grateful that we can go to Jesus, take our heart to him, and then in that share it with our horses. And through the years of studying with you and following you, I just see transformation in horses and people. And I'm so grateful. Thank you so much, Ingela, for sharing that with us, with me. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Yes, it's very rewarding when we are able to help a horse overcome the fears and he becomes fearless.
Really is.
It's wonderful.
It is.
And, I'm thinking that this is really a big part of ourselves being at peace when we work with a horse.
Yes.
Because when we lose our peace and we get stressed or we get afraid, that doesn't create a good feeling for the horse. It also doesn't create an atmosphere where the horse is able to trust us as a lead. And this is why in True Connection, we are not just talking about techniques or principles. There's lots of horsemanship principles. One very typical one a lot of natural horsemen use is make the right thing easy and the wrong thing difficult. And yes, it works. But I just believe there's a better way than that.
Yeah.
The horse is looking for love, peace, and joy. Now, wouldn't it just be wonderful that we could actually offer our horses what they're looking for? Love, peace, and joy. So they would feel comfortable in our presence, trusting us, being able to let go of their fears, work through their trauma, and relax. And through us recognizing when the horse gets triggered and then helping him revisit the thing that scares him, but getting a better experience in this and then overcoming it. It is literally possible to create a fearless horse that is wonderful and trusting and an amazing blessing.
Oh, I love that so much. And just the knowledge that it can be, because, in our minds with our lies and our belief systems, and of course, having the enemy plant these when we're little, I just think sometimes I have a hard time seeing that it is possible and believing that it is possible, but just to know that we have Jesus that can help us to put truth in, and our hearts can become free, and to share that with the horse. I love it. Thank you.
You're welcome. And to add something here, horses look at our hearts moment by moment by moment.
Yeah.
Their survival depends on it. Okay? They need to check what's going on. So for me, it's probably the part that is the most important in my horsemanship journey is the inner work, is the state of my heart, is that I'm able to stay in a place of love, peace, and joy and give that to the horse. Because if we lose that, it really does affect everything else we do with horses. So to me, it is not enough teaching people techniques or how to do ABC with a horse. Everybody can learn that, but does the horse actually come to a place of inner relaxation or not? And for me, that is key.
Yes, and I've heard you say, as a man thinketh in his heart, so he is, which is a great Bible verse to just demonstrate that, and how amazing these creatures, the horse, can read us. But of course, their self-preservation is a big part of that in the way God made them, which is such a blessing that they want to connect with us. And that as we grow in our relationship with Jesus and how we grow that we can also grow closer to our horse and be, just like you said, or carry more peace, love, and joy, what they're looking for. So that's awesome.
It is.
Thank you so much, Ingela.
You're very welcome. Thank you for listening to the Horses and Holy Moments podcast. Stay tuned for the next episode.